In this video, I will explain to you in 6 minutes who won and who pays in ending the government shutdown. After 40 days of crisis, the longest government shutdown in American history is finally ending. The solution that passed the Senate was a highly contentious hybrid compromise. It coupled 3 essential full-year appropriations bills, covering areas like Veterans Affairs and military construction, with a short-term continuing resolution, CR, to fund the rest of the government only until January 30th, 2026. This deal successfully ended the immediate chaos and guaranteed one massive win: full retroactive pay for all essential and furloughed federal workers, including military personnel and air traffic controllers. However, the relief came at a profound political cost. The deal explicitly omits the extension of the enhanced ACA premium tax credits, the core demand Democrats fought for. These subsidies, which prevent insurance premiums from spiking for millions, are still scheduled to expire. Democrats only received a non-binding promise from Republican leadership for a separate Senate vote in December. This failure was due entirely to a collapse of party unity. The final vote to advance the bill was secured by 8 moderate Democrats who broke ranks. They essentially prioritized the immediate financial stability of federal workers who faced ruin over the policy fight for the ACA, giving Republicans the decisive votes they needed and shattering the Democratic blockade. In short, the government reopened, but the central conflict was not solved. It was simply postponed. While the back pay provides relief, the financial and operational damage caused by the 40-day shutdown is permanent. The Congressional Budget Office, CBO, estimates that the ordeal resulted in an unrecoverable loss of between $7 and $14 billion in economic activity. This money is gone forever, representing delayed investments, lost productivity, and stalled projects. For the nearly 800,000 federal workers, the relief is not instant. While back pay is guaranteed, agencies must now process massive backlogs of payroll, meaning checks may take anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks to actually hit bank accounts. This prolonged wait ensures that the financial strain, debt, and stress of the past month will continue well into the holiday season. Operationally, critical systems are severely hampered. The Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, forced to cut thousands of flights, now faces the impossible task of managing rising air travel with a controller corps that is demoralized, burned out, and still chronically understaffed. The training academies which supply future controllers were shut down, compounding the long-term staffing shortage. Likewise, the Internal Revenue Service, IRS, is crippled by a mountain of unprocessed mail, phone calls, and delayed compliance actions just as the tax filing season looms. The cost of this shutdown is measured not just in dollars but in permanently damaged government service capacity. When the dust settled, the shutdown ended exactly where Republicans wanted it to. Government reopened without conceding a major policy demand. Republicans emerged as the technical winners. They held their ground, rejected the ACA extension, and waited for the escalating public crisis, driven by the military pay threat and flight chaos to break the Democratic resolve. They got exactly what they wanted: a short-term fix without a costly healthcare concession. The most significant losers were Democratic leadership and the progressive base. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer faced open fury for failing to maintain party unity. By giving up the guaranteed ACA extension for a vague promise of a future vote, critics argue he presided over a massive political surrender. The moderates who broke ranks essentially prioritized the moral urgency of reopening the government over the policy urgency of the ACA, fundamentally undermining their own party's leverage. The real winner is the immediate financial security of federal workers, whose paychecks were guaranteed, ending their use as political pawns. The ultimate loser is the American public's trust in Congress. This entire crisis was a manufactured failure of leadership, reinforcing the national perception that Washington is incapable of functional governance. It was a victory for political maneuvering achieved at the expense of national credibility and fiscal responsibility. The truth of this shutdown resolution is that it is a temporary reprieve. Congress has simply created a new, non-negotiable deadline. The continuing resolution that funds the government is set to expire on January 30th, 2026. This means that the longest shutdown in history has effectively guaranteed that the next government crisis is already scheduled for early next year. Furthermore, the separate vote promised to Democrats on the ACA tax credits is scheduled for mid-December. This creates a high-stakes pre-Christmas showdown where the fight over American healthcare will immediately reignite. With the government funded, Republicans will have little incentive to concede, making the passage of the ACA subsidies highly doubtful and pushing premiums up for millions. To end this cycle, fundamental change is required. The political class uses the threat of a shutdown as a weapon because the current budget process allows it. The only functional way to address this is through structural reform. Legislators must seriously consider implementing an automatic continuing resolution, which would automatically fund the government at prior levels if the deadline is missed. This removes the doomsday weapon of a shutdown, forcing members of Congress to debate policy on its merits, not under the threat of national chaos. Until that happens, the pattern of crisis, surrender, and postponement will continue. I am Rufus Brown, and you are watching Last Thing Before Sleeping. If you enjoyed my analysis, please give it a like and subscribe to this channel for more videos from me, and I'll see you in the next video.